Hey guys, good morning. Hope you can see my screen and you can hear me. Please type a yes. There's a 30 seconds delay, so I'll get your yes in 30 seconds. And good morning to all of you again. Let's go. This morning we're going to go through the trades we looked at yesterday. Some of the trades, remember we were trading the news yesterday, so those setups we had yesterday ended yesterday, but I'm just going to give you a quick glance at them so you can have an idea what we did yesterday. Thanks, Johan. That was like more than 30 seconds, so I think the delay should be about 45 seconds. Hi, Vic. Yeah. So, good morning to everybody. I'm going to run through very quick some of those setups we looked at yesterday, and then we're going to go through the trades for today. So, all of these were setups we looked at yesterday, starting from the gold sell. I'll take it off. That was the first one we had, was the gold sell. And remember what I said, these were the two arrows I had. Once this dropped from that sell and it broke the low, you start managing this trade to exit before it goes back up, because it's going to come down and it's going to go right back up. That's how wave analysis work. Yeah, that looks like magic, right? But that's how it works. So what we're looking for today is a buy setup. You can notice that this morning I wasn't available this morning even for my group, so I'll take out these arrows. They're no longer valid. I mean, they're already completed. Not that they're not valid, they're completed already. Once we get a deep pullback like this and we start a consolidation at the top there, this was kind of a small trade if you want that one, but you should be out of that trade already. So we're looking for a buy setup, and we can put an entry here for a buy. I'm looking at this as a possible flag for upside. Now, where would the upside take us? If we're getting a trade to the upside, where would that go? In the big picture of thing, we still have this move. We haven't completed that move. So this could possibly just be one move up and then drop again. Now, let's just for the sake of argument say that this was the bigger flat. Let's go with the argument that this here was the bigger flat. We got a drop, we got a bigger flat, and then we got a few more small flats before we drop. In that case, this up move here will be the equivalent of this one. So we're going to make the assumption that both of those are possible. And we will be looking for a move first to go like this. One move up like that, assuming it's going to be that move up. Or we're going to look for a move that looks like this. So we're going to assume we're getting a bigger move like this, and that means that this could go quite a lot to the upside, right? Which means we can probably go much higher than it is right now. So one of those two moves, which means we will take the buy. We'll buy it and we'll see where that goes. So we can start with this being a buy setup here today. Put an entry order for a buy, ready to go for the trade. That's a trade. We were in the Aussie sell. The Aussie sell I'll call a break even, which you should have closed right in here. Right in this piece here. You shouldn't allow it to go back up and come, but if you did, good, but this is where you close it. Take off that, we're still in the consolidation. Aussie is still in the consolidation, which means that we can expect one more downside on Aussie. Short-term upside, possible. Bigger trade, downside. I think we saw the previous consolidation here. We're getting a similar one here. So technically, I would look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, come back down here, come back here, go back up, go back up. This looks like it can go one more up. I don't think we're going to get a spike like this. It's possible, but I don't think so. I think most likely we're going to break this top, sorry about that, and drop. So one more downside. Where do we get the trade? Well, we can do two things. If we don't get a big spike, we can look for a sell under the low here. That is if we're going to get a really big drop. We do have some news today, but at 4:30. So that could be the big drop. We're going to try to get the trade from the top here. So I want this to break out. There's a small flag here. I want it to break out the top. And we're going to look for the sell from the top coming down. Now, this here is a buy setup. The problem with that is that it might not go very far. So if you're going to take any trade with a buy here, you got to be really, really careful. Because once it breaks the top, the possibility now, if you're lucky, they give a spike like this, well, good for you. Now, I do not know that that spike is going to happen. So we're not going to make that forecast. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a flat. And as long as we break that top, it's ready for the downside. So we're going to ignore the buy for now, and we're going to look for the sell setup when that happens. So I'll leave this as a possible sell setup. We don't have it as yet. The New Zealand was a sell also, but we closed that. The New Zealand was a sell for profit. That one closed since yesterday. Right, this one here, the sell in the New Zealand, if you took that one, that closed since yesterday. We closed that because we didn't take, some traders took it during the news, but afterwards we didn't put the trade on. So that was off. Yen, we went for a sell setup that didn't drop. Take it off, it went up. We don't have a trade. Like I said, I'm not buying the yen at the top here because it's every time it makes a new high, pull back really deep. We're still in this pattern. We're still in this. I'll probably even put it like this now. We're kind of in a channel. And as long as you stay in the channel, this entry order here for the sell is very valid. My traders would know why. What I would like to do is wait for a flag here. There was a flag there if any one of you sold it. Small flag, put it to break even. That could still drop. But what we want is a flag here. If we get a flag here, we're selling this today. Right? Now, can it go back up? Yep. Again, I'm not buying the yen. Unless I get a really, really good risk to reward trade, I'm not buying the yen in the channel like that. So I'll keep this entry here. We'll wait for a flag. We'll look for a sell setup. I'll change this from a sell to a sell setup. CAD buy, if you took the CAD buy and you closed it, you did well. If you didn't close it, you took a loss on that. So if you remember what I said, when that thing starts to consolidate, get the hell out of it. It's not going anywhere. If you were in my group, you would close it. If you're not in my group, you don't understand the rules of it, you probably were stuck with that trade and that would be a loss for you. Right now, it's still going sideways. So let's assume we finish this one. We can make the assumption that this one ended here yesterday. That's the top, and this looks like a flat for downside. But remember, the big picture of CAD is upside. Right? Remember, the big picture of CAD is still upside. So when you get this sharp move and you're still consolidating there, even if it drops, it's not really going very far. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gets all the way to the top, come back to the bottom here, and then we go up again, making a bigger flat here. It could even spend much longer in here before it goes. So we made a new high. That was the top of the impulse. We're coming down. We got a sharp impulse. We're making a flat. This would be a sell setup actually. It could go higher, but once it started coming, you're going to get a trade to retest this low. Bigger flat, upside. Now, we will see how high this goes, and then we'll decide whether we want that sell. If we get a good setup, we'll take the sell. If we don't, we're just going to leave it alone. So I'll take off the buy for now because it's not a buy as yet. In the bigger picture, it will be a buy, but it has to come back and retest the low. Europang, if you took the sell and you keep it, good. If you close it, no problem. There's another sell setup forming here. I think we can clearly see that there's a flag forming here, so there's another sell setup to go. And this could probably still do this. Remember, we're not going very deep. We just need one more drop and then upside. We're going for this run. Right? This is the trade we're going for. It's coming down pretty slow. I thought they'd go much faster. So we've got one drop. It seems like they're making another one. You probably get one more drop and then upside. So sell setup if you want it. You will just have to manage it if it keeps going as slow as it's going right now. I think we can put this as a very small running flat. That should fit the criteria of a small running flat there. It's a sell setup. Put a stop above this stop and see if we get this drop. Let's see. After that is upside. Pangos. Well, if you sold it, you should have closed it. Definitely don't keep the trade. It didn't go very far. We didn't get the upside. But if you had the sell on this flag for a longer drawn, remember I said it could make a longer running flat. So we took this trade here because sometimes they do this, and then you get this one. Well, they didn't do that. They actually dropped and pulled back immediately. So we got the running flat there, which means we got a sell setup. So if you sold that, you took profit or break even. It's not relevant. I'm going to take this off. We got this here. We got this one here, right? So we got it there. Now we're looking for this one to the downside. And you have a flag here, so that's a good sell setup. That's the perfect sell setup. You got a running flat. You got a flag forming here. Go to the 15. I think we can make an assumption that that flag is over. You had 1, 2, 3. You can put an entry order. But since it already broke the level and go back up, put it under the low. I would go with this is the flat. This is the flag. It could get more complex than that, but I'll go with this one. And we're looking for one more move to the downside. But since it's already pulled back, just put it under the low and let's see. If it goes higher, we'll go with a bigger flat forming. Right now, we're looking for one more move to the downside, and that's it. We'll see how low that one go. So I'll take this off. Still a sell setup. Pound New Zealand. Yeah, if we were looking for a sell setup on this, but yesterday it didn't give, the flag completed itself later. If you were selling, this probably could have been the sell. Put the trend line this like this and take the sell. If you took the sell there, good. If you close the trade, put an entry here. Right? I assume that it's finished there. This is a flag, and we're making another flag, which means we're going to go with an entry here for a sell setup. And this could be a small running flat, which means that is a sell setup that could go. On the big picture, let's see how far. Well, it's just correcting, so there's no special place it has to go. If it doesn't go back up to tag, if it doesn't go down lower to tag you, and it starts to go up, we look for the upside, because we're still going up, right? We're in the uptrend. Sometimes it's just go much deeper. So if we get a sell setup, we stay with it. Pang Yen. Yep, we got a flat. Right, the first sell was here. You closed it. The second sell was here. You should have pulled this up like this, and your sell should have been here. So you're probably in that trade already. By rule, that's where you put it. Last impulse, put your entry. You should be in that trade. Give it 2 hours. If it doesn't go, close the trade. Right, if it goes, good trade. Keep a stop a little higher, because this is the big flat. Actually, this becomes the first impulse. That is a correction, and well, we're still expecting to do this, right? We're still expecting to do this. So there's a good chance that if we look at it like this, yep, it could come some more before it goes back up. So some more downside is there, and then we'll see. Is it just going to stop here and go back up, or is it going to drop totally? And dropping totally is possible. Right? So keep your eyes on that. Pound Swiss. Okay, if you took this, I think you can figure out you're here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, get the hell out of it. And I think if you're joining us for the first time, you should start to figure out that rule is an amazing one. Right? So if you're here for a long time, you would have figured out that rule works perfect. We're still consolidating, but we're making a bigger flat. So you could either put the entry over here, or you could wait for this to break this top and make a flag and then sell. There's possibly one more move down. Can we assume that they finished the move here and they're going up? You could make that assumption. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. What if this was the low? What if one of these here was the low and we're trying to go up? There's a flag forming here. I think we can all agree that there's a flag forming here. And if this is the low and we're trying to go up, that should be a good buy setup. It's a pretty risky one. So if you're going to take the trade, take it with a lot of caution, which means unless you know how to manage your way out of that trade, should it not go, don't take it. If you understand wave analysis and that is a trade you can manage your way out of, worth taking the trade to the upside. So we're going to change this to a buy setup. It's an aggressive buy setup. Pound CAD. Wasn't a bad trade. I hope you closed it. Go with another sell setup. If this one is going to drop just the same way, very slow, well, you might just get another break-even trade or a small profit. Let's see how far that drops. Right, so we will go with this as the running flat. I think we can all agree that this would be the running flat here. If you take this out, you're going to see it this way. It kind of dropped, make a running flat drop. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 flags in that one. We've got 1, 2. I think we could get 2 more flags on the way down. They're not necessarily going to be equal. I'm just trying to give you an idea how to look at it. Right, so let's see. This could come much lower. This could even come and retest this low. In which case, we'll have to relook at the whole pattern. So there's a sell setup there. Aussie CAD. Okay. We didn't take any trade yesterday because it didn't go. It actually gone back up. We'll figure this out later. I'll just put it like that. It's at the top. It's a sell setup. When it gets to the top, we'll start to look for a sell. Aussie Swiss, we had a buy setup in. If you bought it, you close it. I hope you're back in the trade. Right? So if you bought this, you should have closed it here. And you should be back in the trade either from a flag somewhere in here or from the entry there. If you're in that entry, you may want to close it again. It's not really going very far. You can see that what we're doing here now is consolidating mostly in this wrong one, sorry. We're consolidating mostly in this range. And if you keep going up that slow, it will take a while to get to the top, or it might just drop. So if you buy it, you got to break even. You buy the second one, you got to break even. wait for the third consolidation buy it. If it doesn't take off like a rocket, you stop buying it, or you stay with the next third buy. So the options would be stay with it if you think it's channeling to the upside, or close it if you think it's a running flat. And that is a difficult task for you to do because you wouldn't know which one it is. So we will come back to this afterwards in the New York session, and I'll show you how to trade these smaller flags as they go. Right, when we come back into the session, maybe later in the New York session is when we have more time. So we'll take this off. We don't have that trade. I'll assume that one is fit over. Pound Aussie New Zealand, well, it pulled back, so we'll assume that we got a running flat here. Look for a buy setup, which means there probably will go one more up. You can put an entry order above the top and put a stop here for the buy. I don't know that this is going to go very much to the upside, but at least one more impulse to the upside. The bigger picture is downside. If you can get a flag earlier here, that would be an advantage. New Zealand CAD. So this would change to a buy setup. New Zealand CAD. Yep. At some point, this thing starts going up. So maybe this is the point from where they start going up. Good. If you took that sell, remember I warned you it's not going to go very far. It didn't go very far. So I'm going to make the assumption that this move that happened here now is the start of a big up move to go. So all we need now is for this move to start to make a flag here. And if we get a flag here, we're going to be buying this like crazy to the upside. So New Zealand CAD, from the sell setup, change it to wait for a flag and buy. So this was dropping yesterday, and we told you be careful with the sell because one more move up is possible. That's how wave analysis works, and that's how the magic actually works. Now, sadly, most of you might not be with us for the next week, but I hope you can join us at least in the installment program to be there, and we will see that trade. If I really honestly don't think joining the installment program, if you're a trader, if you're actually a trader who trade live account, should be difficult on you, right? Because it's boiling down to like, I don't know, $1 a session. If you literally look at the amount of sessions we do in a month, it boils down to like about $1 for a session like this. And in a session like this, you could probably make $1. Some sessions you would make more. So I really don't see that as an issue from stopping traders from joining if they really like what we do and would like to join us. And that money is going to go to pay for your course, which means you're not even paying for the sessions. You're getting them free. Your choice. If you're serious about trading and you would like to trade with a group of serious traders, make a call. Right? I think that's the best I can do for you. So let's go. If you're going to be with us, this is the trade we're all going to get together because we're going to get it. Let's go. New Zealand yen. Yeah, it looks like it's going to drop now. It's coming back higher. The higher it goes, maybe the better for us for the drop. Could it be that they're trying to go up from this point for the running flat? I don't think so, because you see when this was going up, it went up sharp. This is coming down as a consolidation. I am more inclined to believe that if we consolidate there for a very long time, this here will become more of a contracting flat. Right? So I believe, okay, John, in a second. I believe this will be more of a contracting flat, and this big one is going to be downside. But for now, we're going to leave it like this. And we're going to go with a possible sell. This sell comes here now, under the last impulse. And I still treat this as a possible correction for downside. Let's see how that goes. I'll put it like this. One drop, worst case break even. In a good case, it's just going to totally drop through the bottom. So it's still a sell setup for now. We had a trade in natural gas. That sell just worked perfect. There was no other trade, and now I think watch for the buy setup because you see this piece drop, this piece drop. It looks more upside now. We don't have any trade right now. This is looking like a small flag to the downside this here, but that means you're within this one. So that could come here, go back up there, and if we get this, then we would sell. If it's going up, we might even consider the buy. So right now I wouldn't trade that sell, which means we don't have a trade here. Take that out for now. Yes, oil didn't drop. That is this one. it actually came down. We put the entry under this one for this to drop. It went up a little more. We can still put this here. It came down and now we're back up again as a consolidation at the top here. I really don't like that trade. Take this off. See the 15, it actually dropped here, but this is consolidating deep back to the top. And if you go back to the top, means we're probably going to go one more up. So let's take this out because this is likely going to go one more up. Maybe not, maybe we'll go with this flat eventually. That is all the correction and this is the low. I really don't like that pattern, but we don't have a buy setup here now because we're inside of this, so we don't have any really buy or sell setup. Let it go there, let it come back here, and then we'll consider the buy from this one if we get that pattern. So right now, no trade on this. Any trade you'll take will be very, very short term. S&P 500, we're looking for a buy setup. I think it's still valid. You probably want this to pull back a little here, and then we'll go with this as a buy to the upside. If it pulls back, we'll go with that trade. That's the only trade we can get right now. If there was a buy setup in here, I don't think, well, probably if you took it here, you got break even. So let's wait for this to pull back and then we'll go with the buy. Next, the buys didn't go. Take this off. Actually, if you wanted to trade this to the upside, that would have been a good idea. Take these smaller ones to the upside. If you take that, or you could put an entry here. If it keeps going like this, you'll have to put one to break even and wait. But it's going up, so we'll see. You know, if this doesn't take off like a rocket, you may want to be very careful with that. So those were the trades we had yesterday. There were a few more trades we took that we closed during the day, so you would not see them here. But you got an idea what we're gonna. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go through the entire list now. We're gonna look at trade setups that we have, and then we're gonna go. So natural gas we did already. We don't have anything in John, so I'll go through everything now. Let's start dollar index. Dollar index still going up, nothing new. It didn't go very much anywhere, and it's gonna probably pull back. You got a 1, 2, 3, probably pull back like this, and if we get a flat here, we're gonna buy. One more upside. So first I expect it to come down some more, and then we look for the buy setup. Can it come down deeper into this? Yeah, that's possible. We'll still be looking for the buy. The only way we don't buy this is if this starts to drop really fast. We don't have a sell setup. And I would not be selling this piece here because we went back to the top. This one is way back at the top, so I wouldn't be looking for a sell setup here. I want this to come back here, and then we're looking for a buy setup. Just come back to this level here, and then we will all be looking for a buy setup this afternoon. Silver dropped. We didn't take the trade, but some of you might have taken it. If you took it, good job. You took some profit off. Silver is kind of going sideways here. It looks upside. This piece still looks upside. There was a small flag here. If this is the top, if this here made the top, this would be the small flag. But I think all of this could still be the correction for one more up. And all of that could still be correction for one more up. So let's put it like this. If you're going to get a sell setup here, you need a flag. Right? If we're going with any sell setup here, I want this to make a flag here, and then we get the sell setup to break the low. If not, this could be a good trade to the upside, and a buy setup is here. So we're going to put that as a possible buy setup with an entry order above the top here to go and break this top. Now, that's not where we really want to buy it. We want to buy it from the bottom here if it gives us an impulse and a flag. So as soon as we can see that this goes up here, make an impulse and a flag, we'll go with that buy for the upside. Right? So we'll look for that. Silver, gold, you already know we're looking for a buy setup. Pretty simple. I think this is the better buy because the flag is mostly the top. The silver flag is pretty deep. So this one would be a buy setup. Actually, a buy setup itself. Euro. It kind of dropped. They kind of pulled back, so we'll have to go with this as more of a contracting flat there. Sorry, expanding flat in this one. And we made a new low. Looks like we're going to make another new low, right? So this one would probably go back up there. Make a flat. Make a new low. We're going to break this low. And once we break that low, we're going to go back like this for a running flat. we're still going to get this move here, but only this time we're going to get it as a running flat. So I'll just bring this down a little more here. Wait for this to complete itself. It has to go back up, come back there. We'll consider the sell and come back here, and then we're definitely looking for this buy. So we're going to get this trade and then downside. So let's see. Pound. Yep, downside. And we took the pound trade, perfect. If you close that trade here or close it anywhere in here, well, if you took the second one, you managed to get break even out of it. So I'll go with the second trade break even, the first trade profit. So now where we are, well, we're making another entry here. We're actually making another flat. I think this one should go up one more here, and then we'll get a perfect flat pattern, because this looks like a 1, 2, 3. Go back to the top and then drop. I don't think this is the correction. Right? I don't think we'll put this as the correction. I think there's a good chance we're here and this would go back up a little. So if that goes a little, break this top. We're looking for a sell. So as of now, this is a sell setup. It's not, sorry, that's a buy. This is a sell setup. It's not there as yet, but it's a setup for a sell. So if it goes back to the top, then we go with the sell. Aussie, sell setup. New Zealand, I think we're waiting for the sell setup as well. Actually, this thing is not clear what it's doing. You're getting a correction here. That's pretty clear. What we don't know is what this part is doing. So you had a correction here. And we think this could go higher. So if it consolidates in here like it's doing, that could be more high move up. If it starts to drop from this point, which means if this becomes more of a flag here, and it dropped, we'll consider the sell. But I believe we're going to get a move like this, mostly a move upwards as a corrective structure. So we might not even get any buy setup. Swiss, okay, it went up, and I think we're still there. We're making another one. We kind of get a 1, 1, 2, 3. Come back here, complete this flat, go up one more. So we'll look for this as a buy setup. I'm not sure we wanted sell setup, or I'm not sure we even got a sell setup. So we'll wait for a buy setup. Short-term buy setup. Cat, definitely sell. So if you took the cat and you close it, well, and if you didn't, you got a loss. But now it's a sell setup. How far low this can go? Well, I have no idea, because we're correcting this. We're correcting this here. So all you're going to expect cat to do is probably drop here. Maybe pull back and drop again, and then go. That is pretty normal. So you can look for a sell setup from the top coming down, which means you'll be watching for this to come back deeper and then eventually make a correction to go up. So if we can get a sell setup from there, that would be amazing. We don't have anything that says sell here. Eurocat. Okay, more downside, take this off. And we can take off the top as well. And that was the buy from over here. Yeah, it's kind of going more down. They kind of consolidate here, drop. They kind of consolidate here, drop. They look like they're going to consolidate here too. And drop. Maybe not big, but that's a trade we could go with. Wait for the flag and sell. Okay, guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me or see my charts again. I lost the internet, but I think we're back. Let me see if I can open the chat box again because lost that as well. Okay, so pretty much I guess you can hear me and you can see my screen. Give me 1 second to see if I can get the chat box again because without that I am lost. I wouldn't be able to see your nope, that doesn't help. Just trying to find where the chat is because I'm lost to that. Yeah. Okay. So I assume you can hear and see me, but I lost the chat box after the internet went off. So can't find it, can't get it back to go on. So we're just gonna continue from where I left off. And Vicky, if you can guide me on the workplace, that would be great. Right. So yeah. Okay. Thanks. Ivan just tell me also that they can hear and see. So just keep me updated in this. We wouldn't take any questions in this session. We'll take all the questions in the next session unless we can copy and paste here. So let's go. Euro yen. Euro yen, big picture looks upside because we've got a really big flat here. This one is still going down, so we're probably going to change it to more like this. Right? This was a small flag here. Go with this one. We've got another one here forming. I think we've got one there. We've got one here. And we're going to, all of this together still looks very corrective. So I still think there's more upside here. Let's see what happens at this point. I'll take this off. If we get any kind of a up move with a flag, we'll buy. We'll go for the buy. The sell setup, you'll want the flag here for the sell. It's not really a good sell setup, and we don't have a buy setup. So I think we just wait. Leave this alone. Euro Swiss. Yep, it kind of dropped the way we wanted. It dropped a little lower than I expected. It came a little lower. So the up move didn't happen as yet. This didn't go higher. We'll take this off. We're still going. That is still going to happen, except now it's going to happen from somewhere here to the upside because we're getting a deeper correction. It's just pulling back to go up. Right, that looks more like a correction. So you can take this as a flat. We can go with this one as a small correction here. I'm not sure I'm going to use this one here for a running flat, although that is possible. Like 1, 2, 3. And now we have 1, 2, 3 coming down. It's going down, but not a sell setup. This one is still a flag for downside. Probably a little more here. But then we would look for the buy setup as we go. Right? I'm not sure. Somebody made a comment, but that's why this entry is not good. You buy the top and sell the low. I have no idea what he's talking about. So I'm not gonna waste my time on those nonsense. He has his own vision, and he has no idea what he's talking about. Let me put it short. I'm gonna be a little blunt now because I have no vision of the screen and I have no patience for that kind of argument in here. Right? If you don't see what I see, then sorry. He make those stupid comments on YouTube and he's here live. If you don't like what I do and you don't see what I see and you think I'm doing it wrong, why the hell you're here? Just hit the road. Go do your right thing the right way. Right? So I don't have the patience for petty comments now. Let's move on. If he makes any more noise in the comment, remove him from the chat. Remove him from the thing. Just filter him out. I don't have the patience for that. Not now, when I'm having internet issues. Let's go. Yep. So this is still a sell and we got a second sell in it. If you're in the second trade, good for you. When it comes to the bottom here, we're going to go. Right? So we're going to expect it to come here and then it's going to go back up. We already looked at all of this, so there's no point looking at them. Let's just wait. Come back. Let's go to Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD still correcting. Let it get to the top here. Let it get to the top here, and then we look for a sell setup from there going. All right, we'll see if we get that trade. Aussie Swiss. Yep. Aussie Swiss was a buy. Buying above here. And this was a buy. And if you take the second one, close it, look for an entry above that top. So the first one you either close or you're still in, and the second one is here. That's the buy setup now. Remember, potentially this could go up quite a lot. Potentially this move could go up quite a lot. But if they're just correcting for the downside, let's assume they're trying to correct here for a drop. Because the bigger picture is this one. This is the bigger picture. We can either drop through here and we'll go back to the top. If we're going to go back to the top, then great. We'd look at it again. If not, we'll just leave it. Right? So, Aussie yen. Same thing. Right? It's kind of, we expect to come and break that top. We broke the top. So when you break the top, now what we're going to look for is if we get one more sell setup in this. We're not looking for the buy. I'm looking for the sell setup one more here, and then we'll start to look for the buy. We don't have a sell setup. And actually, if that goes a little higher, I still wouldn't be buying it like this. It has to break this top, break out of that, make a correction, and then we'll start to buy. All right, so let's go. Aussie, New Zealand. Look for a buy setup. I think we talk about that. If this consolidates here, I don't think this is all the correction. The bigger picture is downside, but there's a good chance this could come here, go back up, and then drop. Right? If it is a running flat, then great. What if it makes a flag here? Can we sell it? If this makes a flag, here's the thing. If this makes a flag here, should we sell it? You can take the chance on selling it. It might be worth going for the sell, because if it's not a running flat, they're going to go lower. But you have to be able to manage that trade if it's going to go back up one more. And that's the problem with it. I'm not sure whether most of you will be able to do that. Get out of the trade and get back in. But let's see. We'll put it as both sides. When I have possibility for both sides, I put it like that. New Zealand CAD. Look for the buy setup. New Zealand yen we already looked at. New Zealand Swiss. I think we'll start to look for more upside before it goes down. It could come higher here, right? So if we get a flag here, we'll start to look for a buy setup. Did we make a low? Yeah, I think we did make a low here. So if we get a flag here, we'll go for a buy. Look for a flag buy setup. CAD yen. Probably put it like this now, because we're getting a bigger correction in here. Right, so this could come back down to these areas here, but it's starting to look upside if they do that. If this comes back here, we look at all of this as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then upside. So I'm not selling this, but we don't have a buy setup as yet. So we'll wait. If this is the one going, we'll let it go. We'll wait for that, because if this is the one going out from there and this is all the correction, I hate to buy this when they have a deep pullback like that. Doesn't make sense. It would not go very far. CAD Swiss. Buy setup. Definitely a buy setup. Go for this trade and let's see if we get it to break that top. Right? The bigger picture of this is upside, but I don't think this is the one going as yet. Actually, I like this trade because the big picture is upside. So in the case that this thing actually goes, you're going to get this trade way at the top there. You're going to get this way at the top there. Right? So 1, 2, 3, it should come back down for this before it go, but once it breaks this top, get it to positive, see if it pulls back. If it doesn't pull back, you have an amazing trade going to the upside. Actually like it. That's a really good one. So we'll keep this for a buy setup. It's an active buy. Swiss yen. Sideways, you probably get another buy setup here. It's not going up as aggressive as I think it's gonna go. They actually pull back more and you're still in the consolidation. So, yep, this one side did happen like that. Take out this now. I think we can make an assumption the consolidation is over and they're going now. If you're going to buy this, you might literally want to see a little flag at the top before you buy. Because this is a big flat. You wouldn't buy the flat itself. You want to see a flag there, right? Before we go with any buy setup. So, upside, wait for a flag. Natural gas, we already looked at that. Don't do anything with it. US oil, don't do anything with it as yet. Let's see how this piece consolidates, and then we'll decide on the trade. And I think we did all of this. US 30, we did it. You can actually look for a buy setup. You just want this to pull back slightly like this, and then this is a buy setup. The same would be for all three of them upside. So this should give you upside. Yep, upside trade. This should give you upside trade. Nifty, by the way, as a buy, you actually would have got it above this top. This would be the bigger flat. Pull it like this. I'll take all of this as the running flat. And it's a buy setup. So if you got a trade from in here, that's great. If you got it from above the top, that's great. Doesn't matter where you get it. Once you see the consolidation and you go for the trade, good job. So now let's go. DAX, yep, still a buy setup. Actually, the buy here is not a bad idea. If you bought this one here, it's not a bad idea for the upside. So let's go. Bitcoin. I'm going to skip some of these. Let's see Tesla, what Tesla has. Wait for, it's making a correction here. So this flag is a buy, but it's within this correction before they go. So you kind of get a buy setup there if you want. Bitcoin. Upside. So if you put your entry order here and you got tagged and it starts to go back, close the trade because it's not going to go. But the entry order should have gone here above this top. And now that it pulled back, you just wait for this to either consolidate here to sell, to close it, or for it to go back up because they do pull back and then go. If you look inside here, see this one? It did tag you, stay here a while, pull back and then go. So that is normal. You don't have to, rush very much into it. But if for whatever reason you don't like the trade, any pullback for a flag, close the trade. Right? Because we didn't break the top, so we're either still in the consolidation, which means still it's going to go, or we're going to go deeper. So in this case, when you get tagged again, when you get tagged like this, you always wait for this to give you something like this. And you get rid of the trade. Because then it's going to go lower. If they just go back up, stay with the trade. Right? Always you're going to get tagged and you're going to get a pullback. It doesn't matter where and how you trade it. If you're following us for a long period of time, you would see you get tagged, you get pulled back, then they go. Right? So let's go. Ethereum, pretty much the same thing. You're not tagged in this one. So good enough. If you're not tagged in this, just change it like this for now. That trade, that buy is still valid. Can this come back to the bottom here and then go? Yep, they can do that and still go. That's still a correction. So can it go from here? Well, if it goes, good for you. Still a buy setup. XRP still a sell setup. Right? Well, if this turns here now, we will assume that they can go up higher. I would not buy it until we see a flat. So until I see this making a flat here, then we will go for the buy to retest this top. So if we don't get that, we don't do it. Let's see. ADA. Wait for a flag here. And if you get a flag, if you took this trade, put the break even, but wait for a flag here for this one. So if you took the first one here, just put that to break even, and if it takes you out, wait for a bigger flag and upside. It's still upside. Nothing has changed there. LTC. Good one. If you had your entry there, see this worked perfect. The entry should have gone here. Right? If you're following, this happened after we put that entry. This would have been your entry. Good job. Take profit or wait for it to see if it goes more. Because I think it can go more. You can move it to break even, to positive, however you feel like. This one went perfect. So if you're buying this, your entry order should have been above the last impulse, which should have been here. Good job. Let's see next one. BNB. We didn't have a trade here. There's no setup. Wait for a flag and then consider the buy. If it makes a flag, go with the buy because we're going back to the top of this structure. Right? If you get a consolidation here, take this consolidation to retest that top. And then we will probably see one more drop. And let's go Dodge. Same thing here. It's kind of going back up. See, they're going back. Wait for a consolidation. Go with the trade to the upside. There was one already. If you're in that one, put it to break even. Link would be the same thing. Yeah, it's consolidating. You're not tagged, but the trade is still valid. Right? The trade is still valid. If it breaks through this, you still go with the trade. If they're going to come then back, well, no problem. It's still a consolidation for upside. And this one. Go for the buy. You should actually be in this trade from here, from this flag here. If you're not, put an entry order here or wait for another flag and then take that trade. Up. Right? So that is we've completed. I tried to complete everything before the internet goes off again for whatever reason. I have no idea. That happens. So now let's deal with top and bottom. I really, really hate sometimes when hindsight traders come here. Everybody is smart hindsight. right? Everybody, oh, you bought the top there, that's why that one didn't go well. All the rest that didn't go weren't the tops. Why you didn't comment on all of them that went? That actually went perfect. Why you didn't say we were selling the bottom yesterday and the gold? It was at the bottom, right? Gold was at the bottom yesterday. I didn't think gold, we didn't sell gold like at the top here, right? We sell gold way down at the bottom here. Right? And you were there and you saw the amazing trade, but you didn't say anything. Because you people are hindsight traders, just foolish nonsense. You don't like what I do, just hit the road. Don't waste your time. Get a life. You just make comments after the fact. I'm going to give you, here's what we're going to do. I'll come this afternoon, I'll make you the host. And I want you to give us your views on all the trades. You're up for that? Send me a message on Skype and I'll make you the host. Victor Marcus, I'll make you the host and you will be the guy showing us all the good trades you know. And we will all left with a lot of money. So if you see things so clearly, then why not show us? Or you only see them after they happen. You're like, you know the guy who had a wife that his wife always knows what happens. Anything happened to him, my wife, oh, I know that was going to happen to you. And he was like, why the hell did you tell me what's the lottery ticket? Tell me what's the lottery ticket, please. Yep, I can make him the host. It doesn't matter in our Zoom. I'll go and add his name onto it for if he send me the message, I'll make him the host for this afternoon one. I'll change it and make him the host. He doesn't have what it takes to do it. He needs to grow a pair. When he grows a pair and come and do it live, then he'll probably know. Hindsight, everybody is smart. So basically, I'm losing patience with some of those people when they behave like that. Many of the trolls have disappeared because they're just like people who don't have life or what. I don't know. It's just sometimes it baffles you what's wrong with some people and their own life. Basically, you will never see me troll anyone. I don't have the time and the patience for it. So yeah, if he has what it takes, then send me a message on Skype and we'll see how we can arrange so you be the host. And you will do it and show us how you can get these amazing trades to go. So come back to what we do, guys. Sorry about that disturbance. Once in a while things happen. It happens, some crazy person always turn up. So let's go. Here's the thing. No one knows where a top or a bottom if it's any trade. It takes a fool to tell you that is a top or that is a bottom. So here's my question to any one of you. And it's a challenge to anyone on the internet now. I'm going to take the gold, and I want you to tell me, I'll put it on any time frame, any given time frame. Is this the bottom? Yes or no? Any one of you, it's a pity I can't see the yeses or the no now, right? I don't have the chat open. But we will do this afternoon in New York session. Tell me if you think that is the bottom. And I'll prove to you you're wrong. It doesn't matter what you choose. You choose bottom or you choose top, you will be wrong. Because you don't know that. You don't know this thing could drop about 1,000 pips more to the bottom or it could go back up to the top there. If you say it's a bottom, it could go this much. And if you say, no, it's not a bottom, it could be the bottom that goes there. But you would not know that. That's the point of it. You will never know that. Anyone who tells you that they're buying from the bottom is a fool. Because he does not know that he does not know. That's how foolish they are. They don't know. No one will never know where the bottom is. And I've told you this many times. You have to start. My traders will tell you this. As a rule, we tell them. You want to get the biggest drop in the market on anything, cryptos, anything. You have got to start selling from where you think it might be the top. And you might make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts before that one becomes the top. Let me bring Bitcoin to you, and I like to use this one because this is one of the not a Victor that disappeared, Victor Marcus or whatever that disappeared from the crypto. He never got the courage to send me the message and come back. The guy who sold his house to buy Bitcoin when it was 56. As these fools see things at a one moment, and then when they're wrong, they disappear. Like the guy who wanted to tell me that there's a war going on in gold. Gold should go up to heaven because there was a war. And when it started to drop, he disappeared, right? Right? So let's look at this. Remember when this one was at the top here? When it was making that top? And the first time it broke the top, the very first time it broke the top, that one. I tell traders, you see this here? Once we broke that top, you've got to be really careful. Because from that point, they tend to come down and retest the low. That was all. That was my statement. It came down a little like this. Right? You see it came down a little, very little. I'm on the weekly chart. So 1 week it came down, and then the second week it started to go back up. It went back up, and then the third week it broke the top again. And then another clear, smart, intelligent person comes and said, don't worry with that fool. He has no idea what he's talking about. You see, we made a new high. We're going to heaven. He's going to 100,000 or 200,000, wherever he was taking it. That this guy is a fool. Don't listen to him. He said it's going to go down from here, and look, now it's going up. He waited until it broke the top again to say that. And then the minute he said that, boom. I challenged him. I said, when he said it, I said, okay, good, let's take a challenge. I'm guaranteeing you that there's a high probability of this thing going back down. He said he's selling his house to buy it. Congratulations. I hope he didn't do it. He was just making noise, because people like those that don't really do anything, they just talk a lot. So he just said he's selling his house. He didn't really sell his house, because if he sells his house, he's homeless right now. You want to know how wrong I was about it? My thought process was it would only come to this level and then go back up, because I was thinking about a flat there. I was wrong by quite a lot. I was thinking 30,000. It came to, which one? It came to 15. So I was like about 50% wrong of how low it was going to go. Hindsight, we all see things, right? Somebody sell, which one? Sell Pong Yen. Let's see where the Pong Yen sell. Where Pong Yen? Oh, we have to go back to the 15 minutes in the Pong Yen. So the Pong Yen sell, you took the Pong Yen sell and it's going back up. No big deal. Remember what I said, this is the bigger consolidation. Let's say you sold it here, and this is the move up. We didn't break the low, we're still in the consolidation. What if this happens to you? What do you do with the trade? This is going to happen to you almost 80% of all your trade. And if you follow what we do, we're going to wait for this to do two things. It's either going to drop again, or it's going to start to make a consolidation here, and then you use this to exit the trade. Right? Always, and I think I showed you like about 10 trades for this week how we did that, right? So we're looking for this to come back, not very much, just a big here. So your stop for this trade here should not be here. It should be above this stop somewhere, because you're trading this big flat. You're trading this big one here, right? So you're still in the consolidation. And if you're trading the smaller one, let's say you're trading the smaller one. Let's assume you want to trade the smaller trades. If you're trading the smaller one, then your entry should be here for the sell, and your stop should be here, right? So if you're selling this flag here with a stop here, you got 1-to-1. What's the minimum thing you would do? You put this to break even. That's the minimum, right? So if you're selling this with the stop there, you got 1-to-1. At least put it to break even. If you're selling the bigger one, which is this one, and you're putting the entry under the last impulse, your stop has to be above the top, because the chances of them tagging you, pulling back, breaking the stop, and then coming back down is very high. So if you understand the strategies and where you're trading and how you're trading, you'll know how to trade. If you sold there, how much pips you had? I think you had quite a lot. Let's say you didn't get to exit. You're going to watch this to pull back for a flag, close the trade, or you're going to watch it drop again, because we did not break the low. And that means this is still within the correction. It's not going up. We're not coming to break the stoppers yet. Right? There's a high probability, even if you're going to go there, you're going to likely make a pullback like this and then go. And that would be your exit strategy. See? There are many trades you can take like that. Let me show you. Dollar Pong, look, the Pong dollar, right? This needs to go back up before we sell. It did go back up. You're waiting for 1, 2, 3. This is going to drop now. Think Pong Yen is going to go with it? Well, we'll see. Remember yesterday this one dropped. So you want to take this trade, but you want to take it from the top here. You don't want to take it from the bottom. So we want this trade to come from somewhere here. We want a flag in here. Yesterday, I think we sold it somewhere here. So we'll try to get a flag here, and then we'll sell that flag to the downside. If we don't get a flag, what we will do is we will wait for the news this afternoon and sell it like we sold it yesterday. Pong, on the other hand, to the downside is limited still, right? You see they start to make big flats. That means structurally they're ending, right? Remember, we're going to get 1, 2, 3 up. I want you to keep track of this. We're not going to be doing more sessions except for this afternoon, right? But that could happen next week. This one is going to drop here. And if they continue to do this, you'll get a channel. Now, if you get a channel like this, that channel tends to do 1, 2, 3. Come back here and then upside. Because you're going to have a running flat here. Like I said, these structures, they change. They kind of make change all the time, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you're looking at the big picture of this, are we at the top or at the bottom? If we're selling this here, is this whole thing, is this the top part of it? Or are we at some bottom of it? But still, we're looking for buy setups. I think when this is finished, we'll get a buy setup. Because we're buying this one up. We are buying that one up. When this is finished, we're going to get a buy. How low it's going to come, I don't know. If they come all the way here, I think if this drop and then make that running flat and come back pretty deep like this, I'll be pretty happy about it. At least this deep. Because then this would become a buy. If you start to buy here, are we buying at the top or a bottom? This is the bottom. So if you get this flat, let's say we get this flat. I'm going to just theoretically show you what a flat is. If this comes here and make a flat like this, and this becomes this flat, I'll take this off. This becomes this flat. Should you be buying here? Should you be buying from here to go up? Because this is the top, right? This is the top. This is not a bottom. This is the bottom. Of course we'll be buying. We'll be buying like crazy. Because we're already doing, right? No, well, here's the thing. You should use the impulse. Cut your price, cut your lot size, use the impulse, because as long as it's in the consolidation, it's still valid for downside. If you're trading that way, then you need to use a different strategy. If you want to use the top of the flag every time, your strategy has to change. Like take, for example, this one. Right? Even without that. We know this was going to make one more up. You remember what I did? I put a line here and I said 1, 2, 3. We wanted to come back and break this top, and then we would look for sell setups. Just like yesterday, come back and break this top and then look for the sell setup. Right? So we're getting the same structure today. I don't think this is trying to go up as yet. So there's a good chance it's going to go down one more. The EuroCAD, let's see. Let's take a look at that. Yep, let's see EuroCAD. We'll probably get a sell here. This might be the start of the downside, so take this out. That was a deep pullback, but it still went down. So I was expecting it to come here, make a new high, and then drop. So we'd assume that this is just a deep pullback, but we're still dropping. So we'll go for the sell. This was a pretty deep pullback, so I thought a flat. But remember, we're assuming that okay, this is all the correction. This is a good sell. So we'll take that sell to break through. Hope that breaks through. Go with a sell under the low. I think the consolidation is not over, but go with a sell under the low here. I like this one. We'll look at the internals. Let's see if it consolidates more, and then we'll decide where to put the entry order. So when you're trading wave analysis, because it goes up and down, and depending on where you are on any part of the given structure, you really don't, you can't really decide that you're not going to buy at the top of a structure or to sell at the bottom of a structure, because you don't know where would be the top or the bottom. Yeah, the daily looks nice for the downside, so I think we can go with this. At least that one will definitely give you a drop. So we go with the trade. I like it. At least even for one more move down. I like that consolidation. So let's go with this. This is a good sell. guys, there are many. Let me put it this way: there are many gurus out there, over a million. If you go Google, if you go on YouTube and you just type forex trading, you'll go crazy with the amount of things out there and the amount of nonsense. Here is the basic thing that you have to decide for yourself. What you want to learn about forex, right? What you want to know. You want to understand how the chart moves. You want to understand what is happening when you're in a trade, or you just want to somebody teach us something that buy here, sell here, and give you some signals. Buy here, sell here, and hope it goes. If you would just want somebody to tell you, here, buy here, sell here, and hope it goes, great. There are a lot of people out there doing that. It never works, right? It just never works. Are you going to get all your trade 100%? We did how many trades from the starting to now? You can look at them, right? You can see how we got out of trades that weren't going and how we literally kept trades that went, right? So you can go back. It's all recorded. It's recorded live. You don't have to, you don't have to wait on somebody to tell you. You can go back and watch it. I was looking at some yesterday. I think when I was checking where my video is on the Forex search, my video was not showing up, but there were some really crazy videos showing up. And I was watching one of them that was at the top for like 10 minutes. Nothing happened. This guy was sitting 10 minutes looking at the screen, did nothing. Nothing. He didn't see anything. It just blanked. And his video somehow is at the top. Just crazy stuff. After 10 minutes, he put on a support point. He went in the chart and he did this. He said, well, okay, I'm not going to say which chart he went, I don't know. And then he just went and he just randomly did something like this, which is, if I can find that drawing tool, trying to find it, one that actually does that, that makes the box. Oh, you can go with the box. Kind of pull a box like this and said, okay, this would be the support. This would be where this thing is the support. Looks good, right? So what do you do with that support? Are you telling me that when this comes here, it's going to stop? It's going to go back up? It's not going to break through? I don't know that. I doubt you know that. Because that's an imaginary something that does not exist. It looks good when you put it. It would look good if you put it here. If you do the same thing here, it will look, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, but what happened? They still keep going down. And it will make corrections and keep going down. Where else are you going to put it? So you can put a lot of stuff on the chart and some would look perfect. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you put on the chart. The illusion that some would look perfect. You can put random lines, you can put Ichimoku cloud, you can put anything you put, some will look perfect. Right? A lot of them will look perfect because it's an illusion. It's an illusion. All of them are based, everything you put in the chart are based on two factors. They're either horizontal or they're running like this, moving averages or so. And since the chart moves in waves, at some point in time, it is going to either tag that thing and go back up or go down. It is going to stop at that point, break through, or go back up. But that is not what the chart is actually doing. You have to understand the concept of what's happening in the market. The market is not stopping at any given imaginary lines on the chart. Not even these trading ones we put on. Right? It's not stopping at any of these imaginary lines. What I'm showing when I put that thing there is I am putting those lines to visualize a possible pattern. That's all. It can break through, it can go back up, it can go down, it can do all kinds of stuff. So what I'm saying is that if we see this as a possible pattern here, what do we think that pattern does more often than not? More often, and at least about 80% of the time, a pattern like this will come back here. Sometimes it just keeps going up, and that's okay. That is the rare factor. I'm trading in the statistical probability of 80% that it's going to do this. And if it doesn't do it, no problem. We're not in the trade. Sometimes it will tag you and pull back. And that is where the trade management comes in. And you use trade management to exit the trade for the least possible loss. We did that in Aussie. The very first day, I think we did it in 5 trades for you. Yep. Thanks for that. But and that's what I like. I like traders who are smart, who can think, who are making logical decisions. People who just come and sometimes people say I'm too aggressive, but I have a very short temper for willful ignorance. I call it willful ignorance. When you willfully know that you don't know, but you somehow feel you have to voice some kind of nonsense, right? If you don't know, my patience to educate you is unlimited. Ask my traders. When I'm teaching something and people don't know, I have a lot of patience in helping them if they're willing to learn. But when someone is voicing willful ignorance, my patience gets short because it's a waste of my time, and I really don't like that. We do 5 live webinars a day. Why? Because it helps traders. That's why we do it. It's lively, it's fun, and it helps. And that's why we do. You don't get 5 live webinars a day in any other group. People will think that that's a bad concept. That's a bad business concept. For me, that's a good, friendly concept. I don't care about a business concept. It's a concept of helping traders. So we're going to stick to that. So let's see. This drop, I don't care. It doesn't. If it goes back up, we don't care. If it drop, we're taking the trade. And if it drop and it doesn't go as far as we want it to go, we start managing the trades. We did that yesterday. And I've been showing you how we do that for a number of times. It is not easy, which means I don't think you will suddenly get it. I don't think that suddenly you're going to, you're just going to come in here and immediately you're going to get all the concepts and everything correct. So in 2 webinars or 3 webinars, it doesn't happen. It takes time sometimes. So, okay, guys, we're going to close this one. Yep. So we'll close this webinar, and I would see all of you this afternoon in the New York session. Please remember to share the link. If anybody who thinks this is a good way of looking at the charts and analyzing wants to join us, they're welcome. I would see all of you this afternoon. We do have some good setups, and we have news this afternoon, so I think we'll get some good trades. We have CAD news and US dollar news. Thank you for coming. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for the little disturbance. That happens once in a while. I'll see all of you this afternoon. We'll have a great time. Take care. Thanks for coming.